All right, so this is the first time trying out this type of content for the Pokey SMB channel, so you guys tell me if you enjoy or not. This is, of course, an in-car style rent, inspired by the great Z&G Emporium, and it gives me opportunity in between my meetings during the day to just pull out my camera and speak to it and get something off my chest. Yeah, and the title is probably something crazy and clickbaity and sensationalistic, like modern will crash. I apologize for that. I'm not talking about the entirety of the modern market. I'm talking about segments of the market that's overhyped right now, that's overvalued, like the PSA 10 alt arts. And I want to explain to you guys why, because what I'm about to say is going to happen. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. So you are going to hear it here, you're going to hear it somewhere else, but I'm telling you from my experience, this absolutely will happen. So again, not everything in modern Pokemon will crash. To start it off, I do think sealed product will continue to go up, and it'll be a pretty safe investment unless you're buying the shiniest and the newest and most wanted things like prismatic evolutions and surging sparks. If you're buying Sword and Shield era or Sun and Moon era sealed product or early Scarlet and Violet sealed product, you're good. Like, there might be a market correction, but you will never be stuck holding the bag, at least in the next 5 years. What I'm talking about in the segment of the market is things like if you buy prismatic evolutions at 150 to 200 USD a box, ETB. If you're buying surging sparks at 230, 250 USD a booster box. I'm talking about buying a Moonbrown alt art for $3,200. I'm talking about buying a Gengar alt art with $2,200 USD. This part of the market absolutely will crash. And the reason why, and some of the evidence that I can provide to you guys that you guys might not understand, but bear with me. Great investors or competent investors look at the market and find historical comparables where you find a time with similar market conditions and a segment in the market that is similar to the part of the market that's booming right now. So I want to compare, I talked about this in my Instagram story earlier last week. I want to compare the modern alt arts to the vintage base set hollows of 2021 and 2020, the last boom. The market conditions are relatively similar, and again, I've talked about this in the past. The boom in 2024-25 feels a lot more organic than it is in 2020-21 because there wasn't like an event of the pandemic, the whole world being locked at home, you know, the stimulus checks, the influencers going crazy. It feels like a lot of genuine interest, people coming back into the hobby, and it just feels a lot more organic. But we're in a similar maniac phase now in 2025 as we were in 2020 and 21, and I would argue that it's even crazier now. What was popping back in 2020 and 21? Base set hollows, vintage. At the time, nobody cared about modern. I mean, people cared about like hidden fates and things like that, but mostly the things that are going crazy are like the base set Charizards of the world, the shadowless Charizards of the world, first edition Charizard, evolutions Charizard, anything that is similar, anything that has any type of correlation to the 90s cards printed back in day one crazy. And like I said, the number one indicator of the vintage market and how it's doing is the base set PSA 9 unlimited Charizard, because that card has unlimited population, so scarcity supply does not affect its market. It has like over, I believe, 12, 13, 14,000 PSA 9s, and that card is as popular as it gets, because even though it's a base unlimited Charizard, it's still the original base set Charizard, and that card went up to 4,000 USD in 2020 before falling all the way back down to $800. Same thing is happening to the PSA 10 Moonbrown. So I compare the PSA 10 Moonbrown to the base set PSA 9 Charizard, unlimited Charizard, because of the similar population. I'm not comparing the PSA 10 because the PSA 10, I believe, is like a pop 478 or something, so it's a completely different story. The Moonbryon in a PSA 10 is like population of 14,680 last time I checked. So that's very comparable in terms of popularity. Base set Charizard was super popular in 2020. Moonbryon is super popular in 2024 and 25. And they're both unlimited pops, pretty much. So obviously the CGC Pristine 10s and the BGS Black Labels of the world, those ones have way lower pops, so we're not even talking about those. But the Moonbryon being where it's at with the popularity, 14,000 pop and counting, is at 4,000 USD, 3,000 USD. That will change, and I can tell you it will follow the trend of the base unlimited PSA 9 Charizard. It will happen. A lot of people give me the argument, I hate to say, I'm sorry, a lot of you, my friends, it is really the dumbest argument ever. The only argument against this is, oh, there's 7 billion people in the world. There's 150 million Pokemon fans. Small percentage that wants the Moonbryon PSA 10, it will go up forever. Well, everybody wanted the base set Charizard in 2020. Everybody wanted it. What happened to the people that wanted it at $4,000? How did it ever fall back down to 800? Markets go through cycles. Markets go through cycles where they wanted vintage at 2020, and everyone said no one's gonna care about modern. SM Pratt was talking about older, rare, mint, or better. That was the thing back then. And now in 2024, everybody wants modern, and not a lot of people talk about vintage. And now everyone's saying, oh, everyone will want modern. And everyone will want the Moonbryon moving forward because there's 150 million Pokemon fans. Well, let me tell you, Pokemon fans are people, and we change. You know, new generations of kids will come in, new generations of Pokemon will come in. People will want different things in the next cycle, in 2 or 3 years. So this is why I'm saying, don't be dragged into the hype. If you're a sophisticated investor or a true collector, you have to look at parts of the market where people aren't looking and talking about. And that is definitely not modern alt arts right now. And again, I'm not saying, let's say the Moonbryon goes from $3,000 to $4,000 and comes back down to like $1,000 to $1,500. And it's just going to stay there it will slowly stabilize and continue to climb back up because that card is super iconic. I'm not saying that's not a desirable card. What I am saying is, in today's market conditions, those cards at $3,000 or $4,000 are not a good buy because there's an opportunity cost of you not allocating those funds into, let's say, the underrated vintage holos or Sun and Moon or Sword and Shield sealed products or other parts of the market, because you can literally buy that same card back for maybe 30, 40, 50, 60% off in 2 years. And it will happen. One of the things I keep thinking about is Top 10 Pokemon. Great YouTube channel. I watch them all the time. He made a video in 2023, and I'm going to like overlay it. I'm going to put it here. About, the top 10 worst investments in 2020.
The worst investments you could have made if you bought Pokemon cards back in 2020, 77.7% loss on this particular card. If you bought it back in 2020, about an 80% loss, 81.2% loss. The base set Charizard craze back then was definitely a head scratcher at a 91% loss.
And you see all these crazy vintage holos dropping like 70, 80, 90%. And that was a video made in 2023, right? There will be another video from Top 10 Pokemon's channel in 2027 or 8 about the top 10 worst investments or worst performing cards from 2025. It will happen, right? History repeats itself, and every time we talk about it, there's going to be people that are not happy. And again, I am saying this, not to my own financial benefit, because I have all of these alt arts. My wife runs one of the most well-known Pokemon shops in Canada, and she carries a lot of these modern alt arts, and we bought them at like 90% market of current prices. So me telling you not to buy them right now is actually to my detriment, right? But I don't care about that. Here at Poke SMP, we want to provide collectors and Pokemon investors with the unbiased advice from how we've, again, like, I might be wrong about this, but I'm usually right. So yeah, I hope that can give you guys some context. Modern will crash, not the entire modern market, but the all art PSA 10s for sure. And that is okay, because that's part of the cycle. It will lose at least 30, 40, 50%, at least 30% of its value, or actually at least 40% of its value from the peak, and most likely more. And that is okay. That's just part of the cycle. It will recover. Once it does lose value, it's time for you to buy. Like, don't be like, oh, no one cares about this. Just like back in the day when the base set unlimited PSA 9 Charizard went from $4,000 to like $800, and everyone's, no one cares about it. Well, now it's back up to like $1,600, right? It's always somewhere in between. People are always stuck between everything is going to the moon. Pokemon is going to go up forever. This is a get rich quick scheme. This is literally an infinite money glitch during the boom. And then as soon as we go through the market cycle and it corrects itself, people are like, Pokemon's dead. It will go to zero. It's gone. And the sophisticated investors and the true collectors will stay through the storm, stay calm, cool, and collected. Find the right cards and products to buy at different parts of the market, and prevail in the long term. Because that's what we wanted to talk about. And also, one thing that I want to bring to your attention is, just because the market is going crazy right now, it doesn't mean there isn't anything that you can find for a good deal and that will go up in value. Like, for example, 2020 and 21, when the market was going crazy, base set Charizards are going for tens of thousands of dollars, and the Evolutions PSA 10 Charizard was going for 7,000 USD. Well, guess what? Team Up booster boxes were like $250. Unbroken Bonds, Unify Minds was like $100 USD. And we picked up so many during that time when everyone was saying and complaining, oh, Pokemon is terrible. There is nothing I can afford. There's true collectors are driven out of the hobby. No, you just weren't looking in the right spots. You weren't looking at the Sun and Moon era booster boxes, or even X and Y, like Roaring Skies, Primal Clash. Those packs were on, like, literally on sale for $3 a pack for the entirety of 2020 and 21. And then all of a sudden, boom, they're $25 a pack. There's that segment of the market that exists in today's market as well, right? You're looking at a lot of these Scarlet Violet era booster boxes and packs still at or under MSRP. Now it's going up, but even a month ago, you can still get things for under MSRP. A couple of the sets I do think will do well long term. Crown Zenith. Crown Zenith is probably my favorite set of all time. I think it is peak Pokemon in terms of the artwork, the pull rates, the number of cards that you can pull. That's amazing. That spread out, even the pull rates are amazing, but the odds to pull an individual hit is really tough because there's so many hits. It's not like Evolving Skies where it's impossible to pull your hits. And it's not like Obsidian Flames where you can pull like a master set in 4 to 5 booster boxes. It is just the right amount of high pull rates and right amount of amazing artwork and difficulty to pull. Crown Zenith, absolutely, I'm so bullish on this set. It's my favorite set of all time. I've been talking about it since it was like $40 in ATB. Paldean Fates, super underrated. Super underrated. You have the Bubble Mew, you have the shiny Charizard, you have the Gardevoir, you have the shiny Vault that contains Pikachu, Charmander, all these amazing early generation Pokemon. Paldean Fates and Crown Zenith, and there's many more sets that are still worth buying for that doesn't have a lot of hype around it. So yeah, stay calm. Don't be so negative at the end of the day. I know this sounds like a negative video, but like, we are buying Pokemon cards, collecting Pokemon cards as adults. Like, life couldn't be better, right? Let's not complain about, oh, like the world is ending, I can't get prismatic evolutions. Prismatic evolutions and surging sparks will get printed to the ground. Maybe not surging sparks, that's not for sure. Pokemon announced, obviously, prismatic evolution reprints are coming. This set will be printed as much as Hidden Fates and Shining Fates. Now, I think it's strong enough of a set to be similar to Hidden Fates, where it holds its value for a long time and then slowly climb back up. Unlike Shining Face, where just like it's dead in the water, it's just $40 in ETB for the rest of the time. Well, it's gonna go up too, but prismatic evolutions, don't FOMO over it. There's going to be a lot of it, a lot of it for years to come. So don't go crazy over prismatic. Don't go crazy over the Journey Together set. Like, Pokemon will print all of these sets to the ground, and I'm telling you this as a shop owner, you know, not to my financial benefit, because me telling you guys not to buy modern all our PSA 10s, not to buy these crazy new modern sets at over like 2, 3, 4x MSRP is not to my financial benefit. I'm trying to look out for everyone. So stay calm out there. Look where other people aren't looking. And this segment of the modern market will crash, but that is okay. We're gonna go through it. We're gonna go through it again in 3-4 years, and then we're gonna go through it again. Pokemon is stronger than ever. Stay positive and enjoy the hobby.